plow with an opening 3 minutes. So.
Great. Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for coming out. Thanks to the organizers for putting this together. So far in this election, I've won the primary and now I've won the coin flip, so I'm doing pretty good. 2 for 2. I just want to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm running. My background is in the private sector. I'm running for this race because I think we need more people with real-world business experience in Madison. We don't need more career politicians. I used to be a small business owner. I owned a small business for 8 years. I had the opportunity to further my education. I went back to school. I got my law degree and my MBA from Northwestern. And I've had experience now recently working with larger companies in the capital markets. I think I bring a unique experience base, both as a small business owner, understanding the struggles and the rewards that go along with owning a small business, and currently with having the opportunity to work with larger companies. I think we need people that understand the kind of policies that we implement in Madison make a difference in the real world. And those are make a difference in job creation and make a difference in whether this economy grows. I'm looking forward to this forum today because unfortunately there's been a lot of misinformation about me. There's been a lot of lies about who I am and what I believe in. I'm looking forward to getting on the same stage with Senator Wirch and having a vigorous debate on the issues. And making sure that by the time you leave tonight, you understand my viewpoint and my vision for this area. Unfortunately, and unlike what Mr. Wirch may have you believe, I don't own a private jet. I don't have a limousine or my private label champagne or cigars. I'm a concerned citizen. I've been married for 16 years. My beautiful wife is right here in the front row. I have 4 young children, 2 of whom are in the public schools here in Kenosha. I think we have a clear choice in this election. We have a choice of going back to the failed policies of Jim Doyle and Bob Wirch, of high taxes, out-of-control spending, raiding money from segregated funds illegally, using one-time stimulus money to plug budget holes, and still having billions of dollars in deficits. Or we can say that the direction that the state is heading in now is the right direction. The legislature that's in place has been able to balance the budget, and they've done so without raising taxes. And that's important. And the bottom line is, what kind of state, what kind of burden are we going to leave to my children, to your grandchildren? That's what this race is about. But even more fundamentally, I want to remind you why we're here. Why are we sitting here on a lovely summer evening talking about politics, and everybody would probably rather be talking about something else. And the reason that is that Bob Wirch left. He didn't do his job. He abdicated his responsibilities.
That may be allowed.
I think we will.
What grade are we in?
I just want to say that if there's an outburst, we will close the forum down. Everyone has to be respectful of both candidates, and if you cannot be respectful tonight, then we will close the forum down at that minute. We won't continue.
Yeah, thank you.
15 or 20 seconds, but I understand that reasonable people can disagree on this, and you'll hear Bob Wirch say tonight that he was doing his job, that this was the worst attack on working families in his lifetime. I disagree with that. I think that someone like Peter Barco was doing his job. He stayed in Madison, he fought against the bill, he voted against the bill. I disagree with him, but he was doing his job. He was representing us in Madison. We need strong representation in Madison. We need a strong voice in Madison, and that's what I plan on providing. Thank you.
First of all, Peter Barco is supporting me, not you, over in Bernie Steitz. Let's get into the ideas here. I've lived my whole life in Kenosha. I've spent 20 years in the private sector. He doesn't count that because I work in a factory and I work in a grocery store. He's familiar with CEOs. I'm familiar with regular people out there. He went to Northwestern. I went to University of Wisconsin Parkside. So I am middle class. He's had a lot of money out there. He doesn't like the idea I call him fancy. Well, today I had a rally at a union hall. He had a fundraiser at a country club with high rollers. And then he wonders why we make a distinction with him. So I think there's a clear distinction. I fought for the middle class. That's my life's work. His life's work is taking care of corporations in Chicago. There's a clear distinction between the two of us. Now, in this debate today, I'm going to talk about the tax cuts that I got for middle-class people, my work fighting for the environment out there, fighting for workers. I know they're, the right wing looks at workers with disdain, but I'm proud to stand up for them. And, we also have to take a look at, I fought for children with autism, for the disabled out there, for consumer protection. None of those issues are very big with right-wing Republicans, but I stand for them, and that has been my life's work, fighting for the middle class, and I intend to keep on doing it.
Okay. There's a huge concern in Wisconsin and throughout the country regarding the role of business, and we have a number of questions related to that. So, Mr. Steitz, you started first, and let Mr. Wirch answer this question first. And here it is. What is state government's role in attracting new businesses to and retaining growing existing businesses in the state of Wisconsin? What should the state do or not do to improve the business climate?
Well, first of all, we have improved our tax climate in the state. When I came in, Tommy Thompson was the governor. We were in the top 5. We were known as the tax hell. We are now number 15. We have made progress out there. So the right wing doesn't like to acknowledge that, but it's simply true. What have we done for business? Well, I was just at a bill signing ceremony with the governor out in North End this week. A bill that I co-authored with Van Wangard, Republican out of Racine, adjusted TIF standards out there to bring 800 new jobs into our area. So, my opponent is full of empty campaign rhetoric. I just helped bring 800 jobs into our area.
Really?
And I think that's important. The head of this party was talking to us, the governor, and he looked at John Steinbrink and he said, "You have had phenomenal growth in jobs here in the area." So he sent out campaign pieces about the lost jobs that we've had in this area. Those lost jobs are because of NAFTA. He should know that as an international lawyer. He should know about NAFTA. But in fact, and I worked in one of those factories that has disappeared from this area. But clearly, the factory workers that I work with don't blame me. They blame Washington and NAFTA. It's this creative right-wing mind that somehow blames me for that. So I think it's important to take a careful look at it. We just brought 800 jobs in here.
I think we need to wrap it up.
Okay. What we're doing in Pleasant Prairie and in Kenosha is the envy of the state out there in creating jobs. We're coming back from losing traditional jobs with new jobs.
Job creation is really not that complicated in the sense, here's a real easy statistic. The top 15 states, as far as the lowest tax burden in the country, over the last decade have created 1.5 million jobs. The lowest 15 states, the states that have the highest tax burden, of which Wisconsin is part of, have lost 1.4 million jobs. And that's what my campaign is based on. So we need to have the kind of environment in this state that is a job-friendly environment, that encourages companies to come here, that encourages the businesses that are here to stay here. And the way you do that is by looking at the tax code and at the regulatory environment. The tax code in Wisconsin is too complicated. We have too many special interest, industry-specific tax breaks. We need to get rid of a lot of these special tax breaks, and I think most people on both sides of the ideological spectrum agree with that, and we need to use that to be able to bring tax rates down. It's not empty rhetoric, it's what works, and it's what's worked in states across the country, and that's what needs to happen here. The problem is that my opponent has taken every opportunity he can just about to raise taxes in this state, and that's resulted in jobs going elsewhere. My opponent, after 15 years in the Senate should be able to